Today we're looking to see how powerful banned modern cards are in 2025. And we're going to continue on with Dig Through Time. This is an 8-mana card, but don't let it deceive you. It's got Delve, so you can exile cards from your graveyard to pay 1 generic mana in its casting cost. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Now, truth be told, the modern format had, barely played with this card at all. It was completely overshadowed by Treasure Cruise, which saw a lot of play at the time, and they just ended up banning them both. Now, we all know that Treasure Cruise, it danger, okay? Treasure Cruise, it danger. It's literally the reincarnation of Ancestral Recall. I'm free! I'm sure that's how Ancestral Recall felt when Treasure Cruise got printed. What a wild time. This card was legal in... It's still legal in Pioneer. People could play it in Modern and Legacy and Standard. But Dig Through Time was basically the baby brother. Some argued it could be better because you can look 7 cards deep, get the best 2 cards. But truth be told, we never really actually saw it get any play in Modern. And for that reason, you look at how Modern operates right now. How do you play Murktide and Dig Through Time in the same deck? Or do they work really well in the same deck? Because we have a lot of Delve cards that are super popular. You only have so much graveyard to go around. So, for example, but maybe it's even easier to fuel your graveyard if you play with Dig Through Time, because you could grab a card that will add more cards to your graveyard to some capacity. What do we got here? Jess says, "Hey, it's that show I'm getting glasses to improve the card reading." That's right. You got to read. You got to read cards. I can see why this is banned. It's banned in the land of fetch lands. It's very important that this is actually super legal in Pioneer. Sees play isn't incredibly outrageously dominating or anything like that, because you got to work your way to actually cast this. Whereas in Modern and Legacy, the fetch lands by themselves are going to help you cast this card somewhat reliably. It's funny. We have Dig Through Time and Expressive Iteration. Let's look at Expressive Iteration for a second. Expressive Iteration, a card that's actually banned in a lot of formats. This was considered actually basically Dig Through Time. A lot of people make that comparison. Expressive Iteration, you also get 2 cards. You also dig a little bit deep. It's basically Dig Through Time because you're spending 2 mana and you get 2 cards out of it. Also banned in several formats. Pioneer, Legacy, strangely legal in Modern. For a weird reason, not nearly as powerful. But that makes me question if Expressive Iteration is legal, and it's of a very similar power level as Dig Through Time, but Dig Through Time has a way bigger downside that you actually have to work towards. Is this card fair? I don't actually have the answer to that card, especially since we have never played with this thing for a very, very long time. But we do actually have, at the very least, we have some sense of fairness in Pioneer. But you could say the same thing about Deathrite Shaman of Treasure Cruise, where all those cards were supremely broken in Modern. Dig Through Time immediately goes into Dimir mid-range, instant speed grow, Murktide. But then, okay, when you play Murktide and you will exile a bunch of cards from your graveyard, will you have enough cards for Dig Through Time? I know in the late game you will, 100%, but in the early game you won't. So you're going to have a choice between the Dig Through Time or the Murktide. You got to pick one. I mean, maybe the Frog helps you, right? So maybe like Psychic Frog helps put more cards into the graveyard to get your Dig Through Time off. Expressive Iteration, says Bean Pop, somewhat limits you one of your cards to a land in Modern. Well, it depends on the stage of the game. Early on in the game, you will want that. You want that land. I mean, that's the land that you really want to help progress your board state. But in the late game, it doesn't need to be a land. It can be a regular spell. If you have like the 5 mana open, play 2 mana, Expressive Iteration, cast Bolt or Dragon Rage Chandler or Murktide, and then keep a card in your hand. No big deal. Hey there, Michael Eng. This is a little too off topic. Whirlpool Rider or Whirlpool Warrior. I don't even know what those cards are. Early game, no, but by turn 4, most likely uses it. Oh yeah, absolutely. But then by turn 4, is that okay? Are we fine with games going long? Is it that dominating if it gets there? I'm going to be inclined that in a fetch land format like Modern, this card is still going to be too strong, but I honestly don't know. I want to imagine that there's a world where this card is fair in Modern, given the fact that there's a big war over the graveyards. You might not win it. You might not win it. Little Deadfly, I'm afraid I gotta head out. Have a great show. Thank you so much, Little Deadfly. I really appreciate it. You're probably gonna have to see it on the replay. You might already be gone already. Oh, you want to skip ahead? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do this just for you. Tybalt's Trickery. This is supposed to be a show where we go in alphabetical order. Tybalt's Trickery, a 2-mana instant. Counter target spell. Choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. Its controller mills that many cards, then exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then they put the exiled card on the bottom of their library in a random order. I have to admit, I completely misinterpreted this card when it first came out. I didn't realize it was a combo enabler. I thought it was just a crappy counter spell. No, the whole point... I mean, I can't tell what was the actual point of this card, but the way it ended up being played is you counter your own spell, and then you put some ginormous creature in play. It did a danger in multiple formats. Look, it's funny how it's banned in Modern. Can we make it work in Pioneer or no? I guess the problem is there's no cascade spells in Pioneer. Or maybe there is a deck, but it's like way worse. Whereas in Modern, the way they did it in Modern is you play a cascade spell. Oh no, the cascade spells like Violent Outburst. So you play Violent Outburst, you cascade. The cascade triggers, you remove cards from the top of your deck until you hit a non-land card. You hit the Tybalt's Trickery. Now remember, Violent Outburst is still on the stack. It's still there. It's just sitting and waiting. And it gets countered. And then from there, we're going to reveal cards from the top of our deck until they hit a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast that card without paying its mana cost. And ideally you get like Emrakul. I actually had a lot of fun playing the deck at the time. Yeah, I was one of those jerks. I was playing, it was like a 48 land deck. It was something like that. With like a bunch of Emrakuls, Tybalt's Trickery, and Violent Outbursts. And I just tried to turn 2 people or turn 3 people over and over again. It was very difficult to pull off. It was very, very difficult. The format adjusted significantly. So it was banned strictly because it created this basically free turn 3 deck, essentially. Everyone had access to a turn 3 kill win deck, but it was like, I can't remember how people interacted with me, but I lost relentlessly. Like, it was not that easy. And these days in Modern, like, losing on turn 3 is normal. In fact, we now have turn 2 decks like Neo Brand coming back, or the Neoform decks. Like, I don't even know if this is that powerful, even by today's standards. That's incredibly janky. Oh, it was super janky. When was this? Kaldheim? Was Modern Horizons 1 around? Modern Horizons 2 probably would absolutely screw with this card big time. Turn 3 kill. It's just, yeah, basically it's just standard, effectively. It's the same thing. You know, you may cast the card. So I mean, it's effectively turn 3 kill. Because you cast Emrakul, you get the extra turn, and then you kill them on that turn. Oh, Whirlpool Rider and Merfolk, where you discard your hand and draw that many cards. That's not good. Doesn't sound good to me. Is the turn 2 Emrakul combo threat still as scary with cards like Force of Negation? Well, remember... Well, actually, it's a good question, because they banned Violent Outburst. That's a really good question. Violent Outburst got banned. So the only way this combo now works is that it's being played at sorcery speed. There's no other choice. So Force of Negation is completely online. That is a really good point. So that, like, half of what Tybalt's Trickery was good for is now not even good for anymore. Unban Trickery. We need janky show and tell combo back. And you know what? It was so budget friendly. All right, anyone could have bought this deck. All you needed was like a bunch of basic mountains and forests, or just a bunch of basic lands. The Tybalt's Trickery, some Cascade spells, and your biggest investment was just Emrakul. That's it. Well, like, what is Emrakul going for? We need a price check on Emrakul. Price check on Emrakul, please. Price check. It's like $30 or $27. I guess that's the cheapest copy that we can get. $24 Ultimate Masters. Get the ultimate price. I don't know if that would be a good thing or bad thing for Modern. You know, you've got this easy turn 3 deck that's super budget in the hands of like perhaps 20% of the field. I mean, it feels terrible to lose to. You know, I played against it a few times. I mean, if you have no answers, it's just, the gameplay is just garbage. You could say the same about any other Cascade deck, I suppose. But, you know, there's like a little bit more room to work with if you're playing against Living End. Like, they got to get creatures in the graveyard. You could exile those creatures even if they go off. If they go off too early, those creatures might not be enough to win the game. Whereas with Tybalt's Trickery, it's just like, here's this Emrakul. Now what are you going to do? Anything? Probably not. That's funny, yes. Let's unban the janky show and tell combo. Isn't Modern show and tell just through the breach? Yes, but that's like way more expensive. So it's true. So you pull that off on turns 4/5. Like through the breaches, it's not a very cheap card. I mean, it's 5 mana. Whereas the Tybalt's Trickery nonsense would be just, you know, 1 Cascade spell into Tybalt's Trickery. I think you can unban this. I don't think it's powerful, but it's super easy to disrupt. Let me tell you. And by the way, this simple version with Tybalt's Trickery and Emrakul, that's not the only version. There were better versions. There were other versions of the deck, more resilient. But still, it was jank. It was super jank. Is the music the Dark World from? Yep, that's right. You got it. Free the One Ring? No, we're not doing that. One Ring's not being free. All right, let's take a look at our next card on the list. Dread Return. That's an interesting one. This is a legacy staple. It's not even that amazing in that form. I mean, it's a combo card. It's a 4-mana sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Flashback. Sacrifice 3 creatures. Why is this banned in Modern? I don't get it. I actually don't get it. I think we can unban this tomorrow. We now have so many resources for disrupting the graveyard like never before. We now have endurance. Like, a lot of creatures don't even go to the graveyard anymore. They just get exiled with Prismatic Ending or Solitude and Blink the Solitude. Go for it. Try to resurrect anything around in this graveyard. I would also argue that this is just a worse version of Goryo's Vengeance, because Goryo's Vengeance is instant speed, plays around counter spells better. I think this is just a worse card. Not to mention, you've got to sack the creatures, and then if it's disrupted, then you lost everything. It would be fine with Dread Return if it weren't for the stupid synergy with Narcomoeba. Let that happen. Like, big deal. Like, what, you want to put this in a Dredge deck? Dredge sees 0 play, nothing. Dredge is like borderline dead in Modern. They need to unban Golgari Grave Troll. I remember when Dread Return was an uncommon. Oh, it's a common now? It's a pauper legal card? Wasn't it because free reanimating was broken when Modern first began? You could be absolutely right, Matthew Green, 100%. But these days, like, there are so much free interaction than ever. Like we have more free interaction than ever before. Not to mention, we have like way better graveyard hate than ever before. What's it called? The Ghost Vacuum. What is it? Ghost Vacuum? This is a pretty good graveyard hate card. It's good stuff, all right? You can tap exile a target card from a graveyard. Could target the exact creature that they're trying to bring back with Dread Return. So anyway, I think Dread Return... There was definitely a time in Modern where free spells were broken. Everyone was really constrained on mana. It was really hard to empty your hand. People had to, the old-fashioned way, play their cards like one at a time through the mana sources that they had. But now we play things for free all over the place. Modern very much is in the same realm as Legacy in terms of, fluidity and power level, and the freedom to play your cards. Because that, playing things for free used to be just relegated to Legacy, but now we can play cards for free very easily in Modern. Especially Endurance, all right? Endurance is when Dread Return was banned, they didn't know Endurance was going to be a thing. Commander is better than Modern. Fight you? Honestly, I can't. Commander squashes Modern's player base by magnitudes. It's not easy to get 3 creatures to sacrifice in Modern anymore. Well, the idea is, and it still is Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba is supposed to be the sweet sauce, the secret spice to making Dread Return good. But I don't know what you would do. I really don't know what the combo would be right now. What would you use Dread Return for in an Narcomoeba deck? Maybe nothing. Like Dread Return sees play in Legacy for the Cephalid Illusionist deck, like the breakfast deck. But and that the whole point is you self-mill yourself until you get the Narcomoebas in play, then sack them to Dread Return if Thassa's Oracle in play. But outside of that, I don't know what they do with this card. I don't even know if Dredge plays with this card in Legacy. I don't even know if Dredge even... Oh yeah, Dredge exists in Legacy. And I think they do play with Dread Return. Archon of Cruelty? What are you sacrificing in an Archon of Cruelty deck? There's a lot of there's easier ways to get an Archon of Cruelty in play than Dread Return. But maybe. What are they sacking? Tokens? I mean, I guess maybe there's another world. There's another way of playing Dread Return. Or maybe you're playing Atraxa and Archon of Cruelty in your Dredge deck, which is weird as hell, but maybe. That could make some sense. We need Sodek here. We need a Dredge expert to tell us if Dread Return is crazy to come off the ban list. Look, this is a good card. I don't think it's broken anymore. I think this thing can come off the ban list. I think we've got the power. I could be, at the very least, you could at least say power up Dredge a little bit. Dredge sees no play. Dredge is dead. Those creatures, they died. They didn't come back this time. It was like this video I saw on Twitter recently where there's this dude holding up this huge giant fish. He was so proud, and he's like, all right, time to release it back into the water. And it went back in the water and just floated, and then it just sort of slowly sank. It was dead. Maybe this would bring back Bitter Blossom? No. Nothing is bringing back Bitter Blossom. It is just gone. It's gonzos. Very much like Dread Return's hope of coming back. Well, but maybe it can. Okay, I think Dread Return can come back. If it's broken, well, no, reban the damn thing. Oh my god, this card. Next up, Eye of Ugin. I mean, I'm just inclined to say this is broken. We already have a hard enough time dealing with the stupid Eldrazi at the moment. And this would definitely just put it right over the top. Eldrazi, colorless Eldrazi spells you cast, which basically all of them, because they have Devoid, cost 2 less to cast. Pay 7, tap, search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This was originally banned because they made cheaper Eldrazi. And guess what? They made even more cheaper Eldrazi since then. We got budget, dollar store, Dollar General Eldrazi all over the damn place. I like to play Dread Return and Bridge from Below so much time ago. Now, that one, actually, that's a really good point. We don't have Bridge from Below. That's banned. So if Bridge from Below is banned, Dread Return is actually way more fair when bringing it back. This would have been fine before. No, It would have been fine before Modern Horizons brought more Eldrazi. I think the card was pretty broken before Modern Horizons had any Eldrazi. I mean, this card was fair when there weren't cheaper Eldrazi's, period. Well, you do make a little bit of a point. What would happen if we had the power of Modern Horizons 2 keeping Eye of Ugin decks in check? Because, you know, Thought Not Seer, so turn 2 Thought Not Seer and Eldrazi Mimics and blah, blah, blah. Maybe not nearly as powerful when you have access to Subtlety, to Solitude, maybe even Grief. But like still, it's still a soul land. There's not many soul lands in Modern. Oh, but they did make one. Wow, that's actually interesting. But what if Eldrazi Winter 2, the Eldrazianing? Yeah, we do have soul. Yeah, it's a good point. We do have soul lands. So would this put it over the top? Eye of Ugin should stay banned. The deck is strong enough as it is. The synergy with Eldrazi Mimic was basically unstoppable. But that's true. So this card specifically breaks Eldrazi Mimic, which with the other soul lands, you can only play one with Eldrazi Temple, and I can't forget the new one from Modern Horizons 3. But this is a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may change Eldrazi Mimic's base power and toughness to that creature's power and toughness until end of turn. That's a big deal, because thanks to Eye of Ugin, you could play like 4 of these in one turn. It happened. Maybe not. I think the most I actually saw was 3, and then they followed up with like a Thought Not Seer, a 4/4 creature, and then they just smashed the opponent for 12 damage. So much damage. So this card specifically breaks this one card. This one card. It was Ugin's Labyrinth. That's a new one. Yeah, when they printed this, I was like, "Are you insane? Are you insane?" They were sort of crazy. I mean, it brought Eldrazi back. Yeah, of course. If anyone has access to Soul Mana, of course it's going to bring Eldrazi back. Of course, 100 million%. Do only noobs play Elvish Piper with Eldrazi? Correct. Welcome back, Super Fast Tortoise. I just of something. Would Insidious Roots in an Archamoeba help make Dread Return more potent? It could. It's possible. Someone have to build the deck, though. So yeah, they print this card. And I guess they balanced it out with Harbinger of the Seas, because we don't have Wasteland in the format. And we definitely needed like more help versus non-basic lands. And we do have more free spells to help compensate for the ramp. But Jeebus, this I think went a little too far. What's even the metagame right now? Let's take a look at the metagame in Modern, just briefly. How high is Eldrazi? Not high! That's scary. Okay, it's actually like only 3.6%. So it's actually very, very low. So could they unban Eye of Ugin? Or is this only broken because of Eldrazi Mimic? It makes you wonder. It really does make you wonder. And mind you, in Legacy, they have so many soul lands, they can't even play them all. So there is a cap to how many soul lands you actually want to play in an Eldrazi deck. Because you also need to squeeze in some green, because a lot of these Eldrazi decks do play green to cast like, Sowing Mycospawn and sometimes Ancient Stirrings and so on. The Ghost of Thomas Jenks like, no. Abzo is also like, no, we don't need this. Do people still play Ghost Quarters anymore? No. I mean, the only deck that played Ghost Quarter was basically Death and Taxes. That deck just doesn't exist anymore. Leon Arbiter. Big stinker. Big stink. Eye of Ugin. Okay. Nope. No one wants this. Okay, well. Stay banned, Eye of Ugin. Stay banned. I'll admit you're a very powerful card. You make me curious, but not that curious. This is a fascinating card next on our list. Field of the Dead. Enters the battlefield tapped. Add a colorless. Whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. This card mostly existed at a time when Harbinger of the Seas was not a card, when it didn't exist. There were less options for beating up on lands like this. Field of the Dead should never have been banned in the first. What? That's a hot take right there. That's hot take of the day. Field plus Dread return. That sounds very Winmore. I don't think you need that. If only you can Titan at the same time. Well, that's basically how it worked. So this was mostly banned because it was a main win condition in the Amulet Titan decks, where you play a Primeval Titan, you look for 2 lands, it will trigger your Field of the Dead, and that was the point. So when you trigger Field of the Dead, and you got those 2 lands, you create an army of like 2/2 creatures, which made it really hard to kill the Titan player that turn, like on your next turn. Sometimes Titan, they play the Titan, they pass the turn, and then that's your window to try to win. And if you win, you win. And if you don't, well, the Titan is going to win, because you definitely aren't going to survive a turn. You're definitely not going to survive a turn when the Titan player untaps. This card would see 0 modern play if unbanned. That is a sus take. 0 modern play. You don't think you would see play in Amulet? Like even as a 1 of? Because they only need to play 1, right? Let me rewrite that for you. Field of the Dead should never have been printed in the first place. This is a heavily banned card. I think this was a big sleeper. You know, it just sort of looks like jank, but then when you play with it, you realize the longevity of this card, the inevitability it gives you is incredible. It wasn't just Amulet, it was just any deck that could go long. Any deck that could go long. I believe it was played in maybe some Uro decks at the time. That was a long time ago when it was at its most powerful. More reason to keep it banned. Well, but the deal is, do we have more answers to this card than ever before? We don't have any elemental for... We technically don't have an elemental for lands. We do have Sowing Micklespawn, if that matters. Sowing Micklespawn can blow this thing up. What in Modern can blow up lands? Sowing Micklespawn, Blood Moon is more prevalent now, or could be more prevalent because of Boros Energy. Harbinger of the Seas, huge card now. Almost every blue deck plays Harbinger of the Seas. Yeah, Harbinger of the Seas is a really big card. I don't know if Harbinger of the Seas is enough. Maybe it is, though. Remember, every blue deck plays Harbinger of the Seas. Can be played in any ramp deck. Yeah, but Modern doesn't have many of those. Modern has like 1 or 2 ramp decks, and you might even include Amulet Titan in that pile of decks. Field was good with control and even better against control. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, yeah, the Uro decks were playing with Field of the Dead at the time, because you could just ramp your way to success and then hopefully just win with the 2/2s. If you couldn't win with Uro. Keep it banned because people want this. Keep it banned because people want this unbanned. That's a funny justification. Well, if there's so many people that want it unbanned, it's probably good, right? Maybe. I was a bit surprised this card was banned even in the first place, but then it got banned in all the other formats, so now I'm not nearly as surprised. You would definitely see a lot of play. I think it would see play. I mean, if we look at our metagame, let's go back to the metagame. Where would it see play? Boros Energy? Never. Is it Prowess? Never. Amulet? Absolutely. Belcher? No chance. Or maybe there's a chance? No chance. Sorry, there can't be any lands in Belcher. Domain Zoo? No chance. Dimir Murktide? No chance. Ruby Storm? Nope. Eldrazi Ramp? Yes. They could definitely play it. Orzhov mid-range? Probably not. Neobrand? No. Affinity? No. Esper mid-range? No. No. Grows Vengeance? Nope. So, I mean, you'd have to... So, Azorius Control, maybe. That's probably... So, we have, like, Azorius Control, Eldrazi Ramp, Amulet Titan, and then maybe many more? Maybe possibly more? Ooh, this is an interesting White Orchid Phantom. What, to go tutor it out? You're just, yeah, here for the good music. Okay, anyway, I have no doubt that this card would see some play somewhere. Now, would it be as broken as it used to be? You know, I think it all depends on how strong Amulet Titan is after you apply this card to that deck. Because, I mean, they banned it basically to sort of neuter that specific deck. It saw play. It saw broad play. It did see play, but Amulet Titan was like sort of a boogeyman at the time. Okay, we'll say it deserves to stay banned. But I don't think it would be nearly as strong as it used to be, thanks to Harbinger of the Seas, that's for sure. All right, if you want to speculate on banned modern cards, look no further than FusionGamingOnline.com, where you can buy those Magic the Gathering cards, because you never know. They're looking to unban stuff. I mean, they unbanned Mox Opal Faithless Looting, for crying out loud. That's insane. So, I mean, basically, they could unban everything, as far as I'm concerned. There's other things you can do outside of buying banned modern cards. You can buy Final Fantasy cards. They're hot and fresh at FusionGamingOnline.com. Support the channel by using coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Play any deck, any format you want. In fact, you can play Modern. When they unban those broken cards, you're ready with Mana Traders, because you can rent any deck available. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_ZAX. Okay, what's next in our list of stuff? The next card. Oh my god, this one. It's Fury! Well, anyway, I'm definitely instantly in the camp of this is not getting unbanned. Or I don't want it unbanned. Now, whether it's too powerful for Modern today is a different question. 5 mana, 3/3 Elemental Incarnation, Double Strike. When it enters the battlefield, divide 4 damage, divided as you choose among any number of creatures and or planeswalkers, and you can evoke it by exiling a red card from your hand. What an absolutely frustrating card to play against. There weren't even mid-range decks around when Fury was legal. Like, no mid-range decks. Like, Zoo wasn't even a thing. Today, Zoo is a deck. All right? If you unban Fury, probably Zoo isn't a deck anymore. Rename it Furry and unban it. Yeah, I'd be totally up for that, considering how hard it is to find Fury. I mean, Fury just eliminates most creature decks from contention. If you want diversity in the metagame, it has to be banned, since there can't be a meta diversity without creature decks. Well, a lot of people disagreed at the time. Now, I will say this. I am one of the most affected by Fury. Because I play with a weak creature deck called Merfolk, and I can only win with creatures, and they get picked off by Fury very easily. I would gladly exchange Orcish Bowmasters for this thing. I'm dead serious. I would gladly... I think there are more ways of playing around Fury than there are playing around Orcish Bowmasters. Orcish Bowmasters is just way too damn free. You have to at least pay 2 damn cards out of this card. You have to. You have to pay. If you want to evoke it and play, it's going to cost you. Not to mention, there is room to play around Fury. Not a lot of room, but there is room. But anyway, that's my take. Fury does wipe out creature decks, being a huge mana. But you know what? I would love to see something take down Boros Energy. Even though Boros Energy is collapsing in meta share as we speak, I want it to go to 0. Sorry, maybe not 0. I want Boros Energy to be put in its place. And I am like 99% certain that they play tested Boros Energy when Fury was legal. Like, that's what the playtesting showed, and Fury just was like, it just wipes this deck off the face of the earth. It's totally fine and fair. But then Fury was banned when the energy cards came out in Modern Horizons 3, and then it just it took over after Nadu got banned. Fury also gatekept future weenie decks from ever forming. Well, but so here's the deal with Modern right now. There is so many gatekeeper cards in this class. Bowmasters is a gatekeeper card. Lava Dart is a gatekeeper card to some extent. There's also What's a gatekeeper card? Ren and 6. This is a gatekeeper card. And if you banned, say, Ren and 6 and Bowmasters, then people would go to like Plague Engineer. This is Plague Engineer. There is an unlimited number of gatekeeper cards now in Modern for the weenie decks. They really need to up the power level of toughness on creatures to 2. Like it should be like that should be the default at this point. But no, there's tons of 1 toughness. They keep printing 1 toughness creatures and they keep getting smashed in Modern. They're like basically, if you want to play a 1 toughness creature in Modern, the card has to be just unbelievably good. It's got to be at least Ragavan power level. At least. Show idea. What are agreed upon game changers in Modern, Pauper, and Historic? Probably everything that sees play. Like, the thing is about competitive formats is no one plays casual cards. I mean, you can, but then you end up being in, like, the D-tier bracket. The complete D-tier bracket. Beanpot says, my first time playing Fury, I was against Elves. On turn 2, I Stone Rain their only land and evoked Fury to wipe their board. F's in chat for that Elf player. No, like, yeah, I know, like, Fury. No. I'm not thrilled about this card. But my point is, like, the environment's pretty hostile to weenie decks. Like, weenie decks aren't coming back. You basically need to be sort of a chunky mid-range deck, which is partially why sort of Merfolk can sort of be playable, because we have a lot of 1 toughness creatures. We also have a lot of 2 toughness creatures, and we have at least some ability of buffing up the creatures, even at instant speed. Yeah, Bowmaster is a huge gatekeep. Bowmaster's gatekeep card draw though? Not really. Like, okay, here's a question for everyone. What's card draw in Modern right now? This is a really great question. What draws cards in Modern? I'm ready. Does Boros Energy draw cards? No. Does Izzet Prowess draw cards? Maybe. But I want to say no. Preordain. Okay, Preordain will draw a card. I think that's it. Like that, I think that's it. It's unbelievable. If you really look hard, there's so little. Does Expressive Iteration draw a card? Does it? Card Advantage is not card draw, but maybe I'm wrong. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand. Put one of them in the bottom of your library and exile one of them. Not card draw. And this is my point about Bowmasters, is that it doesn't gatekeep card draw because card draw doesn't exist in Modern. Like it basically doesn't exist, and people still have card advantage. So the only thing Bowmasters does is kill off the tiny weenie creatures, just like Fury does. Well, the thing is, it just so happens that people just don't draw cards. I think even if people had the option to draw cards, they just wouldn't, for the most part. I honestly don't think they would. So, this is my issue with Fury. I mean, I don't like to see the card, but at the same time, I don't know if Modern would get a whole lot worse if it was legal. And like I said, I actually think it's a lot easier to play around Bowmasters than it is to play around Fury. And I think the cost of playing Bowmasters is a lot lower, and the cost of playing Fury is a lot higher. So I would prefer to make that swap. But if they're not going to make that swap and just unban Fury with Bowmasters in the format at the same time, I would say keep it banned. To be honest, I would also prefer to see Bowmasters banned, but they'll never do that. I use Bowmasters to kill, to combo kill with Echo of Eons and Frog and Mon. Well, what the hell deck is this? This is not a standard deck. Not a stock deck list. That's what I mean. Gatekeeps card draw. That's why people play card advantage. No, but what I'm gonna get at is cubing is that even if you had the option to have card draw, people wouldn't be playing it. I think the card advantage that we see today is the same quality of card advantage that there was a long time ago. Maybe I think people still play Surveil, or is that, I'm sorry, Consider? Is Consider still a card? Where's Consider? Maybe that's a card that got dumped. No, people play Thoughtscour instead. Because Thoughtscour is the Consider slot. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, there's just... The game has evolved in such a way that there is no card draw. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. And it may not even been Bowmaster's fault. It was just like, you know, Wizards just decided, you know, we're going to punish card draw for the future. So now we have to design cards that don't actually draw cards. That's just what ended up that just ended up happening. Fury is just too many good things in one card. Agreed. But honestly, I mean, it is perfectly legal in Legacy. I mean, it's a card. Can't say it's like that impressive over everything else, though. The only problem with Fury were the scam cards. I mean, maybe that's the thing. So with Grief banned, maybe you can take Fury off the ban list. Because it was really Grief that paralyzed people's hands. Because like I said, there's room to play around Fury. In my opinion, my humble opinion, as a Merfolk player. Or maybe I have answers to Fury, other decks can't. I think there's some room to play around Fury. But those playing around it is impossible when people are picking your hand away with Grief. But maybe the same thing would happen anyway with Inquisition, a Kozilek, and Thoughtseize. Fury blinked was crazy one-sided. Well, I mean, you can kill it in response. Although I have to admit, like, that's still a massive exchange. Fury was a faster clock, though, due to double strikes, you had less time. Yep. Fury is fair as long as it's not blinked. People love blinking cards. Maybe there would be a white-red version of the deck now, because people seem to be super high on ephemerate. Pyrokinesis sees no planned legacy, and that's instant speed. No, but, like, that's not a creature. Like, the whole soul of Fury was that it was a creature, too. And 5 mana was so cheap. It should have been 6 mana. Should absolutely have been 6 mana. Okay, but this show actually isn't about how powerful it is. This card would still be powerful. Yeah, I forgot. This show isn't about should it be unbanned. It would still be powerful. It's all about the power level. Oh, here's an interesting card. This one's super interesting. Gitaxian Probe. For the low price of 2 life. Look at target player's hand, draw a card. Yeah, this brought down the power level of a lot of decks when it got banned. The old Death Shadow decks, the Infect deck, basically all the combo decks that wanted to look at your hand before they comboed off, including, I believe, Storm also played this card. People pay mana for Fury? Oh yeah, absolutely, all the time. So Gitaxian Probe, I would be this card is so powerful, it's banned in multiple formats. Look, it's banned in Modern, Legacy, restricted in Vintage, banned in Pauper. Only legal in Commander because, well, you can only look at one person's hand, and you can only have one of them in your deck. I hated the argument people said, like, oh, Gitaxian Probe made people's decks like 56-card decks. Like, that's not the soul of Gitaxian Probe. The soul of Gitaxian Probe is that you got perfect information from your opponent, and you knew if you could just combo kill that turn. That was as simple as that. I mean, if you really wanted to play with a 56-card deck, I mean, Street Wraith is there for you. The same thing. No one does that. Paying 2 life to have a 56-card deck is worthless. But the Gitaxian Probe is worth a lot. Are any of those decks in the top meta right now? If not, then it might be unbannable, but probably still not healthy. They're not in the format right now. Okay, actually, I'll tell you what would be where it would play. It would probably see play. I'll tell you where. Okay, let's go through a roll call of where Gitaxian Probe would definitely see play. Is it prowess? 100%. Not even a question. Yeah, Belcher also works. It's a combo deck because it doesn't need to just be an aggro deck. It could be a combo deck. Next up, Dimir Murktide, maybe. Like, it was a tempo, like, I mean, Gitaxian Probe was heavily played in, like, tempo decks. I don't know if they want to pay the life, though. Ruby Storm, yes. What else? I'm not sure if Neobrand. I would guess maybe. Eldrazi ramp, no. Orzhov mid-range, no. Affinity, probably not. Esper mid-range, no. Living End can't, because they'd cascade into a 1-mana card. Jeskai Prowess, yes, absolutely. Huge card in Prowess. Because you trigger the Prowess, right? Guru's Vengeance, absolutely. It's a blue deck. Mono Green Basilisk, probably not. Mill, probably not. Zura's Control, no. So we have a slew of decks. And by the way, it could see play in Domain Zoo. I'm not 100% certain. They have the option to do that if they really wanted to. So this card has not gotten weaker. It has gotten stronger. I regret not playtesting this card. This card was so good, and I was free to play this thing in every format for years, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. And I realized, wow, this card's broken. Gitaxian Probe would revitalize tempo and spell slinging decks. Ignite Prowess. What do you mean Ignite Prowess is already a pretty top tier deck, although it just got its butt handed to it in the last Spotlight Series tournament. I remember you once ran Peak in your Modern Merfolk, got a 4-1. Yeah. It was a lot better than I thought it was. It was too late too, I think, at that point. I think at that point Gitaxian Probe was banned. Ooh, Argentina, you're an OG. Probe will never be unbanned / restricted in any format. Oh, you mean unrestricted? I think you're right. I think this card has only gotten better. So this card, too powerful. Still powerful even in 2025, and it's not getting any worse. Okay, Gitaxian Probe. Next, we have... Oh, this is a super sweet card. People thought this thing would already be unbanned. Glimpse of Nature. I want a super chat sound effect for this. Sorcery. Whenever you play a creature spell this turn, draw a card. Why the hell is this banned? This was supposed to be an Elves card. Elves is stone cold dead. Elves is doing nothing. I don't even know. Even if you gave this to Elves, they would just die. Not to mention, like we were talking about, how far are they going to get with this card in the format, huh? Imagine Elves plays Glimpse of Nature. Opponent's like, okay, in response, I play Bowmasters. Okay, well, GG is that, I guess. Isn't this a combo card? Only for decks with creatures, though. And guess what Bowmaster's going to do? Going to snipe off them creatures. So some people argued that this would be really powerful in an affinity deck, which I had never seen before, but maybe that's possible. Let the Elves players use Glimpse of Nature. There are so many tools to stop them. So, I mean, yeah, so Elves... I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Elves sucks, and they're probably going to stay sucking for as long as, you know, the format is so hostile to 1-toughness creatures. So it all come down to, can an affinity deck be broken to play this card? Can they break it? Because they could play things effectively for free or for very little mana. Yeah, I mean, graveyard loop combos. You mean with Glimpse? Well, I mean, you're going to run out of mana, right? Unless you can cast cards for free from your graveyard. Better than Ancestral Recall in some decks. Well, okay, to be very clear, like, this card barely sees play in Legacy right now. So, like, why is it on the ban list? I think there was a time where, you know, if you unban this card, probably Elves would really take off and take over, especially since they had access to so much mana with their own creatures. But now, like, the creatures are vulnerable. We've got access to free spells. Card draw is in danger because of Orcish Bowmasters. I don't see any argument for this thing being any good. I mean, there's a theoretical chance that Affinity breaks this. If they do, is it that bad? Like, let's say they go off on turn 3. Is that any different from, like, a regular combo deck? Not to mention, they aren't going to win from there. They're just going to have a big board, and then you can, like, wipe it away with Supreme Verdict or something. I guess Bowmasters would just ping my face instead if I was playing Graveyard Loops. That's true, too. But I would assume the person would stop the loop when they get to 1 life. This would get unbanned and see 0 play. I'm actually with you there, Fred. 100%. I don't know if it'll see 0 play. People will play it for a week, and then it'll be gone. I think this would face a very similar effect as Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting, everyone tried to play the crap out of that. Now, 1 month later, where's Faithless Looting? Faithless Looting, where are you? Is anyone anywhere? Do you have a commander or merfolk deck, Nikachu? Can I find it anywhere? I do. I don't know if it's easy to Google, but on Moxfield I have a Svelune of Sea and Sky deck. So anyone think Glimpse of Nature would take over the format? I don't think so. What is this? Dozan sat in repose for many hours. He made no motion, no sound at all. And as he sat, nature revealed itself to him. Well, we're going to reveal that Glimpse of Nature is stone cold crap. But again, when they unban cards, they're always thinking, well, what does this help? Does this help? This is going to make the format more fun, more interesting. So the danger is, like, maybe this card is just stone cold trash. But on the off chance that it's good, does it make a good gameplay? Maybe. Greatest art, greatest flavor. Yeah, unban immediately. So good. The art and the flavor is so good. Oh my god! I am today years old to find out that it's like an old grandpa monk sitting here. I thought it was a lady fishing the entire time. I don't know why. Like, from a distance, I thought it was just a woman with this, like, nice long hair, and they were fishing in this pond. And now it's complete opposite to what I thought. I have to get my glasses checked. Look up Dozan. It's the falling leaf. Dozan can be my commander. Yeah, this card is pretty much at irrelevance. He's been sitting a long time waiting for, yeah, sitting a super long time to be unbanned. Okay, anyway, I think this card super pathetic, to be honest. Can easily be unbanned. Okay, next up, let's take a look at, oh, this is a good one. Golgari Grave Troll. What do we think of this? This is, I think, the only card in Magic the Gathering history that's been banned, unbanned, then they banned it again. Could they make another mistake and unban it for a third time? Or I should say a second time. Golgari Grave Troll, 5 mana, but that's irrelevant. Enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. Also irrelevant text. Pay 1, remove a +1/+1 counter from Golgari Grave Troll to regenerate the Golgari Grave Troll. Also irrelevant text. Dredge 6, that's the only thing that matters. We've tried this at least twice and it never works out well. No. Now hear me out. This card's super legal in Legacy and basically sees no play. And I do believe that the graveyard hate that we have access to right now in Modern is so overwhelmingly good. It's on par with what we have in Legacy. And like, in theory, we have like slightly fewer answers, but I think cards like Solitude make up a lot of ground here. So for Dredge, if you wipe the board, they could bring it back. But with Solitude and blinking it, well, no, your board is gone forever. And it's not coming back. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It's gone. It's gone. Gone like the trash. Unban it so we can see it banned again. Last time, something in Modern Probation, he broke it. Well, when he got unbanned, it actually did nothing for quite a few months, and then they started printing good Dredge enablers, and then it got broken. Unban Golgari Grave Troll. Dredge loses to the sideboard. It's a Gambit deck, says Will Anderson. Okay, 4 green, Dredge 6 is the only text that mattered. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like, I have faced a Golgari Grave Troll like maybe once or twice in my life. Not often, though. There is moments against Dredge. Like, if you have a Grafdigger's Cage in play and the opponent is just, like, playing lands, at some point they'll have to cast a Golgari Grave Troll. Speaking of graveyard hate, do people play Ghost Vacuum in Modern? They do. They do play Ghost Vacuum in Modern. I mean, it's not as popular as Relic right now, because Relic synergizes better with, what's that god? That Orzhov god? What's the Orzhov god? What's this Esper? Ketramos. It works better with I think it works better with Ketramos because you can crack Relic and exile all the graveyards and then reach Ketramos's threshold of, I think, 7 exiled cards, so it can block and attack. But it's still a good card. So unban Golgari Grave Troll and Deathrite Shaman simultaneously. That's what a plan. Keep both in check. I actually honestly believe that this card would be fine in Modern. I don't think it would be as broken as it used to be in the past. I think we have enough free interaction, enough graveyard hate, especially in the form of, say, Endurance, to keep Dredge in check. And not to mention, like, it's graveyards are under so much fire today. It is not clear to me whatsoever that Golgari Grave Troll will make Dredge so unbelievably overpowered. Not to mention, the speed of Modern is going up. There used to be, we used to live with the rule, like, okay, Modern cannot end on turn 3 consistently. But now we have, like, a bunch of turn 3 and turn 2 decks. Now, turn 3 isn't the standard. Losing on turn 2 isn't the standard. But there's enough of them that, like, if we die on turn 3 because of Dredge, you know what? That's just magic at this point. Outside of Vintage, how viable is it to restrict some cards rather than outright ban them? Well, that's what I was saying for years, but they don't want to listen. Wizards even actually acknowledged this in a stream. They were asked, why don't we start restricting cards? Why can't we restrict cards or unban cards restricted? And they're like, that's like a nuclear option. They don't want to do that. I think that's insane. Because there's a lot of cards, say Golgari Grave Troll. Like, what is it going to do if there's only one of in the entire deck? Some cards matter if it's just one of in the deck. I don't think this is one of them. I think you can unban Ponder, for example, and restrict it, and then just see what happens. I think you just unban Ponder, period. Would Dredge 6 have been good in Murktide? Nope. They would never play that card. If we have enough graveyard hate, then Uro should be unbanned too. That's a big debate. But there's another debate. If Modern can handle Flage, Flage might be still too powerful for Modern. Because, like, we're not dealing with Flage very well. And if we're not dealing with Flage very well, then maybe we're not going to deal with Uro very well. Or Uro needs to be resurrected to fight Flage, the Flage decks. Or someone will build a deck to play all those colors at once. A 4-color Flage Uro deck. And then we're in a lot of trouble. The One Ring should have had a built-in restriction to 1 per deck. There we go. Yeah, that would have solved all problems. That was when, and I think they said that they were open to that idea, but in the end they just didn't do it. Cowards. All right, next up. I guess we'll officially do this one. Great Furnace. I don't think this is powerful at all. Unban the damn thing. I am... like, you could argue the blue one is the best one. We're not going to talk too much about this because we already did this one with Ancient Den. But the red one, I'm not convinced is going to be any more powerful than the other ones. Maybe red is a little bit more powerful because red has some sacrifice artifact, get X effect. So this will be like a tier above the white, green, and black one. But still, it's really worthless. Unban, they die to removal. They die to removal. They die to collector oof. They die to a lot of things. These artifact lands are an absolute embarrassment to Magic the Gathering and to the Modern ban list. I can't imagine. I would love to see someone's face. I need to, like, rile up a bunch of Commander players that have no idea about Modern. None. They don't know anything. They know it's a format. They don't know anything else out of that. And then I get them to I show them, this is a banned card. This card is banned in Modern. Look, this is proof. And I'm just curious to know how the gears are going to turn in their head. Like, why? How? How is that possible? Oh, does it die to Wrath of the Skies? How is it worded? Wrath the Skies. How is Wrath the Skies worded? Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value. Holy cow! That's sick. Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize they're so vulnerable. It's a way more vulnerable mountain. Okay, definitely very, very weak. Not powerful at all. I don't think this was powerful at all ever in the history of Modern. So next up, we're gonna go to... Ooh, this is an interesting one. This one's a little too fresh. Maybe way too fresh for us. Grief! 4 mana for 3/2. Elemental Incarnation. Menace. When Grief enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. That player discards that card. Evoke. Exile black card from your hand. How long ago was this banned? I want to say it was not too long ago. Was it banned in... Yeah, I can't tell when... I can't remember when this card got banned. Hymn to Turok is more fun to play against than Grief. Should never have been printed, and the art is god-awful. You think this art is bad? This art, I think, is awesome. I think this art is 10 out of 10, especially for what it does. I hate this card. It was way better than Unmask. Well, just because it was a creature. Hey, let's not forget, like, Grief for a whole year did nothing. It was like a really janky card. And it was only until they broke it with those stupid Undying cards. Is it Undying Evil? Target creature that gains Undying until end of turn. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? These cards never saw competitive play forever. Like ever, ever, ever. And finally, they're seeing play to break Grief. I mean, this was not the only... Grief saw play in a lot of decks. It saw play, I believe, in the Esper Gorios deck. It saw play in the Scam decks. It saw play... It was a multi-deck all-star. It was not relegated to just one deck. But you did feel scammed. You got scammed out. You felt super scammed out of the game. Grief Ephemerate combo was unfun and too powerful. I actually, I sort of disagree, because that was the first shell these cards were played in, and they didn't really go anywhere. Oh, wait, unless you're talking about the Grief Ephemerate in Esper Gorios, because that did go somewhere. Mostly because when the creatures are still like 3/2s, they weren't really that strong. It's Grief. To be honest, I like that the Undying cards got a moment to shine. It is fun when cards for Limited get some competitive play. Well, technically everything in Limited sees some competitive play. But that was like, I don't know how to put it. I mean, it's like a limited card. It's like a card that's usually only good in Limited. Finally sees play in powerful play in Modern. Wasn't it used with Not Dead yet? You're not dead after all? Yes, this is all another one. They played both effects. Because both of these effects gave it +1/+1. Because the Undying thing gave it Undying. So it comes back onto the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. And same thing with Not Dead after all. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Then you get a Wicked Roll token. It gets +1/+1. Also, when the aura is put into a graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life, which was not satisfying either. That's great. I dealt with the Grief, and now I take another 1 life from your stupid aura that technically goes to the graveyard, even though it's a token. Tis just a scratch. Grief with Flash. When Wizard. No, we don't need that. That sounds terrible. Random question. I only play Commander. Is Displacer Kitten as annoying and playable as it is in Commander in other formats? Nope. Sees no play. Displacer Kitten is a strictly Commander card. Because in one-on-one formats, if you got a problem on the battlefield, well, there's no politics. There's only one other person that has to deal with it, and they'll deal with it immediately. So, also, I don't think... Yeah, Displacer Kitten can only see play in, like, Legacy, I think. But Legacy's too powerful for that. Okay, is Grief too powerful for today? Yes, it is just way too powerful. Keep it banned. Keep it banned. Too fresh. Too fresh. The wounds haven't healed yet. I'm just still building up some scars. Okay, that's our discussion for today. We'll do this again next week, of course. As usual, my coffee crew, we do these shows 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Of course, thank you very much everyone who supports the channel with money, who are patrons on Patreon and members on YouTube, and also the people who super chat to be part of the show and help other people be part of the show. And of course, thank you so much, my coffee crew, for being here. I love your opinions and your takes on all these cards. Thanks for contributing. People like Abzo, Crowcore Games, Matthew Green, Pumpkin Kinetic, the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins, Benjamin Berkey, Argentina, Bob Talksbridge. Of course, we have Abzo, Christopher B in there, Spectral Maniac, Daniel, Jess, John, Federico. What deck, in your opinion, would be the top dog if there were no bandits in Modern Magic? What the hell does that mean? Would be the top dog if there were no bandits? What does a bandit mean here? Quite literally or figuratively? I think the best modern deck is probably somewhere between, well, it used to be Boros Energy to Is It Prowess. I don't know what it's going to be, because right now it's facing a huge change. It's funny, a lot of those return thing are played in a lot of Commander 2. Normally, it's Valkavoth. Yeah, usually it doesn't reach to Modern. Dustin, thanks for being here. And everybody else, so as usual, my coffee crew, keep bringing those coffees. We're going to keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.